Welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, numerous delays in requested information continues to frustrate Commissioner of Inquiry, and he warns that nothing or no one will prevent the COI's completion.
We also see the leader of the opposition, Honorable Marlon Penn, now accusing the sitting government of financial mismanagement in the midst of this pandemic.
And Premier Fahie announced plans to raise $10,000 fine following discovery of falsified COVID-19 documents upon entry into the BVI.
International Literacy Day to focus on the cultivation of literacy.
And 47 berths to the BVI scheduled and climbing, and in excess of $10 million in cruise ship revenue would have been lost if decision wasn't made quickly, says Premier Fahie. We get to these stories when 284 News returns.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
A pleasant good evening, viewers. It is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. We are coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes, and we start with news from the Commission of Inquiry. Well, the Commissioner of Inquiry, Sir Gary Hickenbottom, has expressed frustration following numerous delays that threatens to disrupt the progression of the ongoing Commission of Inquiry. Well, Sir Hickenbottom made a disclosure during the recommencement of the COI's hearings on Monday, September 6th, where he revealed that the frustration stems from delays dating back several months. But despite the frustration, the Commissioner made it abundantly clear that he will not be discouraged from conducting his duty and will press on with his respective tasks to get the job completed.
Hearings. I'm afraid that this morning we will have to deal with some of my frustrations in making progress. The causes today are very much the same as the causes in June and July, when they were fully aired in the open hearings that I held. I will continue to press for information which I consider relevant to my terms of reference. However, I should make it quite clear that I've reached the stage of this inquiry when it is more than ever important that I press ahead, complete the hearings, and write and promptly deliver my report. I have no doubt at all, that the public welfare of the BVI requires that I do. I'm afraid that I, and indeed my whole team, have been frustrated, but I must make very clear that nothing and no one will deflect or distract us from completing the task set by my terms of reference. Thank you very much.
Well, viewers, in June, Sir Hickenbottom revealed that the government of the Virgin Islands submitted incomplete documents to assist with the COI investigations. Well, he was referring to documents submitted during a May 20th hearing, which he said were not a full representation of the information requested. Well, he said, and I quote, "Well, the initial COI hearings held in May, to which I have already referred, confirmed that the documents produced were significantly incomplete and generally in very poor order. But often it was impossible to ascertain the story that they told. For example, I heard evidence from witnesses over several days on the BVI government contract in respect to radar barges, simply to try to understand how those contracts might have come into being. Well, even now, the COI does not have a full set of the relevant documents," end quote. Well, at the time, Sir Hickenbottom further said that the Attorney General's legal representation, Queen's Counsel Sir Geoffrey Cox, also confirmed the poor keeping of government's documents, which slowed down the investigation process. Well, Javon, we would have seen the recommencement of the COI yesterday, and as he started the initial process in terms of the hearings, this was one of the first things he would have touched on in terms of a continuation of somewhat of a distress when it comes to getting his job completed.
Yes, and this is a sentiment we've been hearing for quite some time, even prior to the COI coming to a halt. The government has repeatedly said that, of course, this was compounded by the fact that they have had to dedicate time and resources to the handling of the pandemic. And some of them even argued that it is bad timing, considering that the UK moved forward with pausing their COI and essentially still giving the stamp of approval on the BVI COI. But nevertheless, we see the COI being recommenced and trusting that we can go through it in due process. Now, viewers, as we move on, the leader of the opposition, Honorable Marlon Penn, has once again accused the sitting government of financial mismanagement and as an economic crisis looms here in the territory, of course, following the pandemic. Now, Honorable Penn, while speaking on NDP radio last evening, highlighted that money spent on the COI defense lawyers could have been divulged to better meet the needs of businesses and persons suffering at the hand of this pandemic. Now, viewers, Honorable Penn said, and I quote, "So that stimulus 2.0, is it critical in a time like this? That $3 million that we took to put towards paying attorney fees, of course, relating to the COI, is it critical in a time like this? That $1 million that we claimed that was budgeted for political consultants in a time like this, is it needed to support our businesses? That money that we are going to spend to sue the Attorney General in this nonsense of a sham needs to be spent towards helping our citizens, helping our businesses, and those persons who are hardest hit from this pandemic. The priorities have to be the well-being of our economy, the well-being of our people. We need to refocus, and right now we are not focused. We are focused on all of the wrong things." End of quote. Now, here is the opposition leader also said that the government has failed in creating a comprehensive plan, something that the opposition has been calling for since the advent of COVID-19. Honorable Penn continued, "It boils down to us not having a plan, not having a vision. January, we were promised to have a plan for tourism. From May of 2020, the opposition have been asking this government for a plan. We got tired of asking for a plan, and the people are saying we keep on asking the government for a plan, but we don't have a plan." But people have to remember that we are the only ones who pulled out a plan in terms of the recovery for this country. In September 2020 was the ideal time for us to start to test the waters in terms of getting our tourism industry back up and running. It was early in the game, and it gave us the opportunity to test our protocols and firm up those protocols. Now, viewers, while being highly critical of government, Honorable Penn said that the NDP has a better vision to move the economy forward, adding that government must actively engage with the people on the ground. Honorable Penn continued, "We have ideas and plans for this country, and we are going to continue to encourage the people of this territory to not be despaired. We also want to encourage the government, like the caller talked about, engagement. Don't just engage the stakeholders when they make noise, complain. You need to have constant engagement with the stakeholders, cruise tourism, overnight guests in villas, hotels, and the beer boat industry. But while we are working on these things, we have to give support to those industries and those businesses who are hardest hit in this pandemic." End of quote. Now, viewers, that was the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Marlon Penn, of course, speaking at last night's NDP radio. Now, Kamal, what we see continuing to happen, and as we pen through the sentiments of the Leader of the Opposition and in general the opposition in contrast to the government, I think what we continue to see is reactionary opinions as opposed to being proactive. We see this from the point of the government as well as the opposition. And I think what people are continuously calling for is for our leaders, our officials who are charged to lead the territory, who are voted in by the people to handle the business of the people, to be a bit more proactive, not just when there's an issue, not just when our backs are against the wall, as in the recent case with the cruise ship industry. Do we come forward and consult with the stakeholders, which are the people of the Virgin Islands? We have to be actively engaged in the process in order to get the work done.
Indeed, and as we see here, the opposition leader basically trying to keep the government in check in terms of their actions. Obviously, the program is to get the voices of the people heard and also try to bring some sort of resolution to both the people and also persons that are interested in moving forward in these difficult COVID-19 times.
And, come on, another great thing that comes out of consultation as well is, yes, we have elected officials to lead the charge, but they won't have all the best ideas, especially in a time as fluid as this, where there is no flick book to guide the process. We have to go to the experts. We have to connect with the people to ensure that we are coming up with the best possible plan to lead this territory forward.
Indeed. Well, viewers, still ahead, Premier Fahie announced plans to raise $10,000 fine following discovery of falsified COVID-19 documents upon entry into the BVI and International Literacy Day to focus on cultivation of literacy. And the Social Security Board invites qualified persons and businesses to submit proposals for management services for the Joes Hill Manor Estate project. We get to these stories after a word from our sponsors.
ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT fiber network. CCT Fire, bring it home and upgrade today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier Andrew Fahie has hinted at his government raising the $10,000 fine associated with persons who falsified COVID-19 information when entering the territory. Well, the Premier's comments came on Friday, September 3rd, during a press conference just days after it was revealed that fake vaccination documents coupled with falsified information on COVID-19 tests were discovered at local ports of entry. Well, Premier Fahie, who is the Minister of Tourism, was responding to questions posed on the subject from local media. Well, he heavily condemned the actions of persons involved in these practices as he highlighted the negative impact it can have on the entire territory. Well, viewers, take a listen.
From my understanding, it happened in both times. From persons uploading false information. You like to say that you would hope those things don't happen, but in anything in life, there's always persons who are trying to beat the system. The only problem with this is when you try to beat this system, you destroy the system and everyone in it and around it. Because this is COVID-19. If you lie about being negative and you're not, and you lie about being vaccinated and you're not, you put a lot of persons' life in danger. We will be looking to see how to raise that $10,000 up. I can tell persons that from now, because for anybody to get involved in that behavior knowingly, intentionally doing it, can cost us our economy. So we will be reviewing that and some other measures very soon, because that may have to increase.
Well, viewers, the acting chief medical officer, Dr. Ronald Georges, was the first person to announce the discovery of falsified information relating to COVID-19 documents. Well, he made that disclosure during an emergency transportation for higher industry meeting on Tuesday, August 31st. Well, he said that health officials detected a number of instances where dates and numbers on documents presented by inbound travelers were not making sense.
This is definitely not a new issue, certainly not just exclusive to the BVI. The region has been battling falsified documents, whether it's the COVID-19 test results or the vaccination cards. And like Dr. Ronald Georges said, his team is on the lookout for these type of flaws, fraudulent documents. However, it's been difficult, especially since the cards that are coming from the Caribbean and the United States, it does not carry a QR code as opposed to the ones coming from the European Union. And Kamal, quite frankly, I'm a little worried about this continuing, since now the Premier has announced that fully vaccinated persons applying through the portal to come into the territory, that process will now be automated and you will get automatic approval. How then are we going to be able to detect these documents if it is automatically approved? I'm not sure if it's a case where it will be required upon entry to be verified, but I think this is another area for concern.
But I think he did mention in terms of the automation of for the process of fully vaccinated persons, that there will still be procedures in place to just double check and probably at sometimes require additional information, basically to verify whether it's indeed correct. And obviously in terms of, despite it being automated in terms of the process online, there are obviously still a lot of procedures you have to go through on the ground when you get here that I assume that the medical professionals will have in place to be able to double check and verify as security measures to just ensure that those presenting those COVID-19 documents are indeed incorrect.
Well, he did indeed mention that there will be random checks, and if indeed they detect any form of inaccuracies, that they will pull the automated system. But that was based on the words of the Premier of the Virgin Islands. Now, viewers, we're going to move straight ahead. The Secretary General of the BVI National Commission for UNESCO, Dr. Alison Flax Archer, has said that the territory, as the territory celebrates 2021 International Literacy Day, UNESCO and the National Commission worldwide will be endorsing the right to literacy, the cultivation of literacy and digital skills by everyone for a human-centered recovery from COVID-19. Now, Dr. Flax Archer said, and I quote, "Many events have been organized throughout the Virgin Islands to commemorate the day. UNESCO will host 2 online global meetings on September 8th to 9th for the UNESCO International Literacy Day celebration and the UNESCO International Literacy Prizes," end of quote. Now, viewers, Dr. Flax Archer is also encouraging the public to share International Literacy Day activities and videos by submitting them to aflax-archer@gov.vg, or they can be uploaded to the official Literacy Day website that is at UNESCO. Dr. Archer continued, "Let us share what we are doing to generate ideas for reimagined literacy teaching and learning that integrate literacy and digital skills." Now, here's Dr. Flax Archer also said that the COVID-19 pandemic is seemingly the worst interruption caused in all educational structures, with long school closures causing schools to completely close or the engagement of online education to be activated. She explained that in the Virgin Islands, the rapid shift to online school learning is like many other places highlighted, but she highlighted the persistent digital divide in terms of connectivity, infrastructure, and the ability to engage with technology. And this is why the 2021 theme for International Literacy is so fitting. International Literacy Day will be observed tomorrow, Wednesday, September 8th, under the theme Literacy for a Human-Centered Recovery, narrowing the digital divide. Kamal, always a great celebration and observation here in the territory. I know Dr. Flax Archer is very passionate about laying out activities throughout the schools throughout the territory. Clearly, as a result of COVID-19, that may look a bit different this year, but persons are encouraged to follow the government website to see how they can tune into the sessions both on tomorrow, Wednesday, September 8th, as well as Thursday.
Indeed. Well, moving on, viewers, the Social Security Board is presently urging qualified and experienced individuals or firms to submit proposals to provide full property management services for the Joes Hill Manor Estate project. Well, this was expressed in a media release from the Social Security Board on Monday, September 6th, which said the project is a housing community of 25 buildings comprising of 52 residential units and 1 commercial space, where the development of the estate marks the beginning of the Social Security Board's first-time homeowners program And the buildings are strategically constructed on 7 acres of hillside with views of Commercial Road Town and the South Coast Harbor. Acting Director of the Social Security Board, Mrs. Jeanette Scatliff-Boyne, said, and I quote, "Well, the fruition of this development is incredibly important to the core of Social Security Board principles. It's not just about building homes, it's about creating and providing access to opportunities for those in our community. When a manor is a symbol of civic growth, and a selected property manager must operate with this image in mind," end quote. Well, the Social Security Board also revealed that the contract, once issued, will be for a period of 3 years, and said the selected bidder is expected to manage the estate in a comprehensive capacity encompassing property maintenance, security acquisition, and resident relations. Where proposals must be delivered to the Social Security Board office in the Joshua Smith building by 4 p.m. October 15, 2021. But the office also notified that it is the sole responsibility of the bidder to ensure that the bid is received before the deadline, and expressed that late submissions will not be acknowledged. But bids must be submitted in a sealed envelope labeled Property Management Services, Joes Hill Manor Estate, and addressed to the acting director. Where proof of the following documentation should be accompanied by each proposal, and that is the certificates of good standings from the Inland Revenue Department and the Social Security Board, which must include the National Health Insurance and the Commercial Registry. And viewers, persons should also ensure that their proposals are accompanied by a valid proof of a trade license. Well, each proposal will be qualitatively evaluated based on the bidder's experience, managerial capacity, propositional value, and overall fulfillment of the minimum criteria. Well, all queries should be directed to Mrs. Jeanette Scatliff-Boyne, Acting Director of the Social Security Board, at telephone number 852-7827 or email jboynes@vissb.vg.
All right, viewers, up next, we are speaking about the cruise ship industry. More news on that right after this commercial break.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, viewers, welcome back. Well, Premier and Minister for Tourism Andrew Foy has said that his government could have missed out on more than $10 million in revenue and over 47 potential calls to the territory if a decision was not quickly made to welcome back cruise vessels to the BVI. Well, the Premier made a statement during a recent press conference while responding to questions posed by the media, while he was defending his government's decision to act briskly on an agreement with the cruise industry, which he said was vital to reviving tourism in the territory. Well, the Premier said the decision was one that found a balance between the lives and livelihoods of residents.
Sure. We had other stakeholder meetings because we were informed about the scheduling of the cruise ship returning to the Virgin Islands, but of course it was only fully vaccinated passengers, and one of our protocols stated that you have to be vaccinated upon arrival. So the question was, how do we come up with measures that wouldn't compromise the safety of our people, and at the same time would not have us to be one of the territories that lose the cruise ship industry, because the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pair Pack was developed and constructed through loan funding, and it was predicated on cruise tourism. So if cruise tourism is not happening at the time, it creates some financial issues. But we know that we cannot just seek finances now. We have to balance lives and lives with livelihoods. So we had to come up with a methodology through advice from our health team and our technical experts in other areas of how we can do this.
Well, the Premier warned that if a decision was not made with haste, the BVI would have not only missed out on this cruise season, but also the 2022 cruise season.
And after discussions, and might I add, many hours of discussions and many days of discussion, although we didn't have too much of a long time to to solve this problem, because cruise ships, they make their schedule way in advance. And if we missed this season in terms of this year by not solving it, we'd have automatically missed the scheduling of the cruise ship for next season. And we would have seen and realized, over probably $10 million worth of revenue coming to the ports that would have been lost. And that's a very conservative figure that the government of the Virgin Islands would have had to pick up the tab. And in terms of central government, the issues with that is, all sectors of governments everywhere in the world are down because COVID-19 has taken a toll on most governments, and most governments actually have gone into deficit spending.
Well, viewers, Premier Fahie also revealed that calls to the territory from cruise ships could resume in just under 2 weeks, and said there were approximately 47 scheduled calls, which is expected to increase after signing the agreement.
All in all, we have seen, since we have done this, we have seen about 47 calls. We had more than that, but we were losing them as time come until we got the measures adjusted. So since we have sent out the word that we have adjusted it, we actually went down to less than 47, but more and more have come back on the schedule. Cruise ships, you have to make sure that you get your part of that pie early, because a cruise ship is not something that you can stick out your finger when it's passing and say stop into the BVI. You have to make sure that you register your interest early so that you can get on the schedule, and make sure in this COVID-19 era that we do so in such a way that we don't compromise the health of the people as much as possible. But we have...
Well, viewers, earlier during the aforementioned press conference, Premier Fahie revealed that Cabinet decided to remove the requirements for rapid testing for fully vaccinated cruise ship passengers and crew visiting the territory for less than 24 hours, subject to enhanced COVID-19 protocols, including passenger bubbles and enhanced COVID-19 monitoring and enforcement. Well, he said that provisions were made for those passengers wanting to travel outside of the bubble, who must first undergo a rapid antigen test before being permitted to leave the territory.
And now, viewers, for some news in the region. The leaders of the Caribbean community CARICOM in several African countries met just earlier today to discuss ways that the region can grow on a united front. Kenya is chairing the virtual summit under the theme Unity across continents and oceans, opportunities for deepening integration. Now, viewers, the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta said that he was thankful that the meeting was not postponed for another year, since it will allow leaders to start laying the framework to combat global challenges on a united front. Areas that Kenyatta believes the regions can collaborate on includes the blue economy, technology, debt financing, and COVID-19. President Kenyatta said, and I quote, "Your Excellencies, today we are taking the first of our baby steps in what promises to be an incredible journey in the forging of incredible ties with Africans at home, those in the diaspora, as well as all people of the African descent." End of quote. Now, CARICOM chairman of Antigua and Barbuda, the Prime Minister Gaston Brown, also urged leaders to utilize their force as a bloc of 69 countries to negotiate with global institutions. Prime Minister Brown said, and I quote, "Colleagues, we have it within our power to demand change in the international system and to fight for it and to make it happen, but only if we act harmoniously. We are a population of approximately 1.4 billion with great natural and wealth-creating resources, including oil, gas, agriculture, minerals, forestry, tourism, fisheries, and much more. We are the suppliers of vital commodities to the global community and a strong market for the goods and services of Europe and North America. Additionally, together we have the voting power of 69 nations in the United Nations and all its subsidiary organizations, including the World Trade Organization. We have global bargaining power, but only if we use it effectively." End of quote. Viewers, Mr. Gaston Brown was very thankful that Africa and CARICOM came together through the African Union's medical supplies platform, that is the AMSP, to secure supplies to fight COVID-19. He proposed initiatives that include the creation of a Forum of African and Caribbean Territories and States, which is better known as FACS, that September 7th be the African Caribbean Day, and for the removal of visas for Africans and Caribbean people to visit each other's countries. Kenyatta actually agreed with Brown and said he looks forward to annual meetings between the Caribbean and Africa. Meanwhile, CARICOM Secretary General, that is Dr. Carla Barnett, said that the cycle of history has brought the Caribbean and Africa into a new union that is freely entered into. Kamal, great news for the region as they continue to collaborate with Africa for better integrations and, of course, putting better systems in place for the African people. Viewers, that is all the time we have, unfortunately, but feel free to join us again tomorrow. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Happy Tuesday, everyone.